What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the Nationals. So this is the first video on the NL East. Nationals have been pretty fun. A team that I watch probably more than what I would expect from a team that's projected probably to be last in their division. They've been really fun to watch. The offense, today is May 19th. I think might be a day or two old, but stat I saw is that they have scored the most runs and given up the most runs. There are a couple games under 500. I think there's been a couple bright spots. Offensively, there's been quite a few, but start with the pitching. Bullpen's been pretty bad. I think that was to be expected. They released a former first-round pick, Jackson Rutledge. So you hate to see that as an organization, a guy that obviously used a lot of draft value. I mean, you gave him, a first-round pick, and you gave him first-round money. So you hate to see that not working out. Another former first-rounder in Cade Cavalli has been really solid. I've watched probably 4 of his starts, and the numbers are, I think he has a low 4 ERA, but a lot of his starts, and I'm sure you can say this about a lot of different pitchers, are so close to being so much better. Like his last start against the Orioles, he had 6 scoreless, and then to start the 7th, he gives up back-to-back home runs, and then he gets an out, and an inherited runner scores. So he ends up being 6 1/3, 3 runs, and that's still a quality start, but compared to the 6 scoreless that he had started with, that kind of muddies up the line a little bit. They brought Foster Griffin over from the KBO. He's been a really solid left-handed pitcher. I think they're going to get something for him at the deadline. But besides that, the pitching has been really, really bad. They're employing Miles Mikolas as a Cardinals fan. Glad he's not on my roster anymore. But he's serving his role. He's thrown out of the bullpen some as a long man, but he's there to just eat innings and basically be a placeholder to not rush some of their pitching prospects. They have some interesting pitching prospects. Their names are going to escape me right now. But Travis Sakura and then Miguel Sime, they just drafted him. And then there was one more that I can't remember his name. But those guys are interesting. But not much else to talk about in the pitching. It's been pretty much bad, except for Foster Griffin and Cade Cavalli. When it comes to hitting, Keibert Ruiz hasn't been as bad as he's been the last couple years. He's still rocking like a mid to low 600 OPS. And he's still not good defensively, so that contract has aged really poorly. He was a big piece coming back in the Trey Turner trade, I believe. Yeah. First base, they're rocking Curtis Mead a lot. I really like Nasim Nunez. I really don't understand why they don't let him play shortstop and move CJ Abrams over to second, especially since Abrams has been hitting out of his mind to start the year, probably like a top 3 offensive shortstop. Might be statistically the best shortstop offensively to start the year. But most teams look at him as a second baseman. I think he should get some run in the outfield. But yeah, he grades pretty poorly defensively at shortstop. And Nasim Nunez is a plus defender at second base. I don't know why they don't do what the Marlins did a year ago and just swap those guys. And especially when you're likely to move CJ Abrams and most teams look at him as a second baseman, I think if you move him over to second and he shows that he plays a good second base, that could even improve his trade value a little bit even more. They just sent down Brady House. He had been a little inconsistent, but they sent him down to bring up Dylan Cruz, who was playing pretty well in AAA, had like a 750 OPS. The defense and speed are there. You just got to get more than you've gotten with the bat. When it comes to the outfield, James Wood, I think he's kind of showing what he is around. I mean, there's obviously more he could ascend to, but I think pretty comfortably he's going to be an 850 to 900 OPS guy, around 30 home runs, but around 200 strikeouts. He's taking a lot of walks, so that helps with the on base. He runs really well for a guy his size. But I think if he could, obviously you'd like to see him cut down on the strikeouts and improve a little bit defensively. They're playing him in right instead of left this year. I don't know how he's grading out. I think he's been a little bit better. At least the announcers have hinted at that in the games that I've watched. Center field, Jacob Young is actually hitting a little bit more than he has in the past. I think he could even be traded. I think he's a great fourth outfielder, a guy that can come in, defensive replacement, pinch run, and get a couple starts a week, and you can live with the offense in that. But if he's your everyday starting center fielder, you kind of want a little bit more offensively. But he's one of the best defenders, probably in the game, but for sure in the outfield. And then Dalen Lyle. I mean, he's been really solid as another bat in their lineup. Oh, Luis Garcia is their first baseman. I forgot that he got moved over from second to first. But Dalen Lyle has been really solid. And it gets tricky because they need so much more pitching. Like I mentioned, they have some pitching prospects. I think Sakura is the closest. And I think he's had at least one Tommy John. I don't know if he's still recovering. But you need so much more pitching in the organization. So you probably try to flip Abrams for that, especially since you have a lot of shortstop prospects, Seaver King and Eli Willits. Eli Willits is at least a couple years away. He's like 19. But Seaver King has already hit his way out of Double-A, and he's in Triple right now. He's got promoted to Triple-A not too long ago. You have an interesting catcher prospect in Harry Ford. So, I mean, with the young core that they have, you obviously thought when they traded Soto and they got Abrams, Wood, a couple other guys, that they would be a part of the new rebuild type core. But Abrams has a couple more years of control, but it's looking like you're not going to be competitive until hopefully best case scenario, maybe the most optimistic Nats fan could think maybe next year, but realistically 28 or 29. So I don't think finances are a big deal to them. They don't have any big contracts on the payroll. But as he gets a little bit more expensive, and then also just making more room for other prospects to come up, I think you could easily get a good haul for CJ Abrams. And the thing is, too, he's always been a first-half hitter, to where I think he has a career like close to 800 OPS in the first half, and then closer to 600 OPS in the second half. So I think you could capitalize on that. His OPS is like a 900 right now. But capitalize on that. Get a couple pitching prospects that are a little bit closer to the MLB level or already up and have a lot of control. There's a good amount of teams that could use CJ Abrams. There's a lot. I mean, he was rumored last year to be they couldn't work a deal out with the Giants, and then they went and signed Luis Arraez. But then the Giants are likely to be sellers too, so I don't think they would make a move now. They're probably trying to offload a lot of contracts. But there's still plenty of teams that could use a second baseman. And if you could get a couple good pitching prospects, I think you want to do that. I think that fits what you need a little bit more, especially since you could just slide Nasim Nunez over to short or bring up a guy like Seaver King. But Seaver King can play all over. He can play outfield and all over the infield as well. But yeah, they've been a really fun watch. I mostly only watch on Cavalli starts. But the offense, they're putting up a lot of runs. And with those, with James Wood, CJ Abrams, and Dalen Lyle really carrying a lot of the weight. it'd be tough to probably move on from CJ Abrams, especially as a guy like you thought was going to be your shortstop for a long time after the trade. But yeah, I think you need to capitalize on that. They're probably going to move Foster Griffin and CJ Abrams at the deadline. Maybe shuffle some guys around, but they've been an exciting team. And as a Nationals fan, I think coming into the year, if you were told, hey, we're only a couple games under 500 a quarter of the way through the year, I think you would take that 10 out of 10 times. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I could see them holding on to CJ Abrams, but if they do that, I think for sure a position change would be necessary. But also, I wouldn't be surprised at all if in a couple months he's on a different team. But yeah, this is the first video I've done on the NL East. I think I'm going to do the Marlins next. They're one of my favorite teams. But yeah, thanks for watching. Y'all guys have a great day.